Oh, hold on. We gotta have the thumbnail. What should we go with, guys? We go, oh, like, oh my god, ah! All right, so we got like the thing that was shown in cinemas. That everyone sort of, or people who posted it on Twitter and I think YouTube, ended up getting copyright claimed because they were literally filming in a cinema. I think that was the main thing that was bad about it, not that what it was. So basically, this is a new thing. Yeah, we're doing this on the fly, of course, because it is now like almost midnight. Well, it's almost 1 a.m. where I am when this is dropped. So basically, there's not a whole lot to go off. They just go off like, oh, we love the original film. Steven Spielberg called, David Keb up. He called me up and he said, do you want to make more money? And I went, yeah, of course I want to make more money. The main things I wanted to go over is Gareth Edwards talks about the raft scene, which was in the original Jurassic Park. That being the novel. And because, when you run out of ideas, you go back to the source. That's pretty much every Jurassic Park movie after the second. And what's interesting here, I'll just quickly play a little bit of it, is they show the raft here. So this is the raft that gets inflated later. Yeah, so this is the scene right here, this one. Should I just download this? Oh, wait a minute, I'm a pro YouTuber, I should know what to do. So this seems to take place just before the T-Rex wakes up, or at least it's where the Dilophosaurus is, I think. So the scene previous to this is the Dilophosaurus, does its frill and, intimidates her. But I think they're eating the Parasaurolophus, which we've seen the maquette of, the puppet. So it does get away, it's my meal, and then goes back to eating the decaying Parasaurolophus, because we saw the intestines and everything of that thing. So it just slowly brings out the raft and then inflates it here. And then they start paddling. Look at them go! And then it's my theory, or it's my understanding, that after this, or at least maybe they're paddling away from the T-Rex at this point, because in the novel, the T-Rex chases Tim, Lex, and Grant in the raft, and I think it jumps into the water and it chases them there. So I'm assuming that might be what happens here. And then you've got the family on the other side. I think that's the boyfriend, her younger sister. So you have it. She pulls out the raft from, I think, this bunker area, and they've obviously got separated. The rest of her family is on the other side of this river, which you can see across there. She inflates it by pulling the thing, and then they travel along the river, and then the T-Rex wakes up. The T-Rex chases him. This looks like the raft actually is flipped over. It's almost like not only are we doing the river scene, but we're also doing the T-Rex. So it seems like the T-Rex snaps at them, or it even jumps in, flips over the boat, snaps at them, and then they hide underneath the upturned raft. And then, obviously, for this purpose, they're using the cutout of a T-Rex head to, get the actors to look at where the T-Rex is going to be. So yeah, it's not only the novel, but we're also going back to the film. And then this is another scene, which we have only saw a glimpse of, and it's the characters running across the beach. But what's interesting to note here is that there's blood in the water, and we didn't see that before. We get like a nice zoom out. This seems to be early on, and on the left, I assume that this is the boat running aground, because it looks like the back of the boat, which, if you remember, was that red, and the front of it is a cream color. But it seems like this is how they get trapped on the island, or they get stuck on the island. After the attack of the mosasaur and the spinosaur, maybe it's like, oh, they're being territorial, we need to get out of the water. And then maybe they get run aground, or some waves crash them onto some rocks, and then they're just kind of like, oh, we got to get out of here, let's run away. We also have a little shot of Scarlett Johansson's character, Zora, I think it is. Is it Zora Bennett? I could be wrong, but anyway, of her attaching what seems to be the flashlight to the front of her gun, because remember, we can't shoot at dinosaurs, but maybe we do. Yeah, this scene here, we see her with a gun, and that is 100% a handgun. That's not a trank gun or anything. And I think that might be the first time we're seeing dinosaurs being shot with guns or any sort of like weapons since Fallen Kingdom. I think Blue was shot with a gun close up. I don't think they did it in Dominion, and that was only once. So maybe you're allowed to shoot at a dinosaur once per movie, possibly. That's all the Universal will allow you, because we don't want to shoot dinosaurs. And yeah, this is the scene. I think this is when they're already in the raft. They start to paddle, and then that wakes up the T-Rex. Because if we look closely at the shot, you'll see that the T-Rex is moving in the background and the character in the foreground, but they're moving at different speeds. And I think that's to show that, you know, they're going down the river and the T-Rex is staying stationary. It's not like a camera pan. It seems like the whole thing is moving. But I love that we're like, oh yeah, we're taking that scene from the novel, and then, you know, they flip it upside down and have the explorer scene from the first movie as well. So we're doing the movie and the novel. So that's very interesting. But I think literally from the shot that we're seeing right now, this is the perspective of the Dilophosaurus, because the Dilophosaurus was to her left when she came out, and that's exactly where we are. So I think the carcass of the Para is from this angle, because I was looking over there like, oh, maybe it's over there, maybe they're next to it, but no, the Dilophosaurus is the same side we are, and that's where I've seen the Parasaurolophus. But how fast they're moving those oars, that's them being chased. So the T-Rex already at that point has woken up. It has possibly even jumped into the water. And then later on, when we see the T-Rex snapping at them, I think that's in a shallower part of the river, because the river they're in seems, you know, fairly deep. It's not as shallow as the part that we see them dodging the bites of the T-Rex, however. And it looks like the water's moving quite fast, and we've seen the waterfall scene, or like we've seen waterfalls in the Polly Pocket playsets, and that's where the ankylosaur is. So are we going to see like the T-Rex get distracted, you know, hunting the humans in favor of an ankylosaur? Because the T-Rex is just sort of chasing them along the river, and then there's a herd of ankylosaurs, or at least one or two ankylosaurs there, and then they get intimidated or something. I don't know. I'm sure something like that's probably going to happen. Anyway, guys, I don't want to waste any more time. There you go. Us as Jurassic content creators have to cover every little tidbit of information and be like, we have the new thing you won't believe. It makes it amazing. Yeah, anyway, bye.